What do people need to understand in your estimation?
What we need to understand is that Congress is working on legislation called H.R. 6666. It's H.R. and then 4 sixes. That legislation, if that were passed, would make every single person on the planet, or at least in America, to take an RNA-modifying nanotechnology inside your body that has the capacity to control your thoughts. So everybody out there needs to make sure that all of your elected officials need to know, do not let H.R. 6666 pass, and do not take those RNA-modifying nanotechnologies inside your body. If you've already taken the shots inside your body and you have concerns, please go to timetofreeamerica.com and just come out to one of our events, because we have doctors, scientists, and people that know what's going on that are developing therapies and treatments that can help reverse some of the side effects of these quote-unquote gene therapy RNA-modifying nanotechnology vaccines.
Nanotechnology that can control your thoughts. Oh my God. That is Clay Clark. He is a conspiracy theorist, obviously. He's based in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He makes his money, as he says, through live stream talk shows. In other words, he claims to be a talk show host. He's not just a conspiracy theorist when it comes to the vaccine. This is a guy who's also being sued by Dominion Voting Systems for alleging that Dominion rigged the 2020 election. Eric Coomer, who's the director of product safety for Dominion, is accusing Mr. Clark of defamation, civil conspiracy, and intentional distress. So that's the background on this guy. Like a lot of this nonsense, there is one element of truth in that there was an HR House Resolution 6666. It would have provided $100 billion for vaccine testing and as well as contact tracing so that we could figure out where you might have gotten exposed. It lies dormant and hasn't passed. And by the way, it never would have required anybody to get the vaccine. So that's flat out wrong. Secondly, there has been some speculation that, maybe this would somehow allow the government to come into your house and force you to register. No, it wouldn't do anything of the sort. But like a lot of conspiracy theories, these folks like Clay Clark, they take one tiny element of truth that, yes, there was an HR 66 to sound credible, when in fact their claims are insane. That's the first problem. The second problem with this video is the host, David Brody. He's the chief political correspondent for CBN, or Christian Broadcast Network. On his program, The Water Cooler, on Real America's Voice News, he says no topic of conversation is off the table. Well, it's actually no crazy topic of conversation, and no hate is off the table. This is a guy who has used his platform to promote QAnon conspiracy theories, election conspiracy theories. David Brody has enabled hateful rhetoric towards LGBTQ. He's enabled xenophobic rhetoric. He's enabled anti-abortion rhetoric. So this is a guy who thinks that it's not his job to speak truth to power, but simply to let power speak whatever truth it wants, even if it's hateful and crazy. So watch how he responds to Clay Clark.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
All
Bye.
right. And look, once again, I just want to repeat, are we giving you any definitive conclusions on this? I want to be very clear. We're not. But guess what? That's not our job. You know whose job that is? That's your job. It's not Don Lemon's job, and it's not my job. Okay, so here's the difference, though. Don Lemon's never going to talk about any of what we just heard. We will here on the Water Cooler. Why? Because it's part of the narrative. It's part of the full complexity of all of this that you need to know. And guess what? Now the responsibility falls on we the people, if you will. In other words, folks, all of you out there need to go research it, figure it out for yourself, and draw your own conclusions. That's the right thing to do. Back in a moment.
Did you hear that? David Brody said, "Great to have you here." And Clay Clark said, "Thank you, brother." Called him a brother. And then David Brody said, "It's not our job to give you definitive conclusions." And in the next sentence, he says, "Don Lemon from CNN never talks about part of the narrative you need to know." You need to know is a conclusion, David Brody, and you are concluding something that is insane. There is no vaccine nanotechnology that controls your thoughts. And for you to give this guy a platform just shows what kind of ludicrous platform you have. David Brody likes to hide behind his TV lights and his professional, slick-looking broadcast to somehow establish some credibility, when the fact is that David Brody has none. He uses his platform to spew hate and nonsense. Brody said that we can research things and figure things out for ourselves. Well, you know what? Here's the research we've determined. Facts matter. Science matters. And, there once was a time when, late night radio would have a talk show host who would talk about conspiracy theories with UFOs, and it was entertaining, but it was harmless. This is not entertaining, and it's dangerous. When you are suggesting to people that it's okay not to take the vaccine because there's some sort of nanotechnology that's going to control your thoughts, well, you're endangering the lives of those people. And I feel sorry for David Brody's followers, for everybody who watches this broadcast, and for anybody who gives a moment of the day to Clay Clark. These people are insane. I'm David Shuster. Tell me what you think in the comment section.